Father Mussie Zerai knows it won't be long before his phone rings again, with desperate calls or messages with coordinates from somewhere at sea between Africa and Europe. Then he'll do everything he can to help his compatriots. Father Mussie is from Eritrea, and for many refugees, he's the last hope.
When I get messages like that, I call the Coast Guard in Italy or Malta, often both. I send them the information so they can locate the boat carrying refugees on the Mediterranean.
His phone number has been found scratched into the railings of refugee boats. It's handed around refugee camps across North Africa. Right now, the weather is still too poor to make the crossing, but soon people will again risk their lives on rickety, overcrowded boats at the hands of unscrupulous people smugglers. All for the hope of a better life in Europe. Services for the Eritrean Catholic congregation in Basel. Father Mussie's bishop sent him to Switzerland, where he tends to 14 congregations across the country. The congregants are grateful for the occasional Mass said in their native language. Life isn't always easy for immigrants in Switzerland. In his sermon, Father Mussie talks about the responsibility that everyone has for their own fate. The priest knows the problems faced by the members of his flock. After all, he was himself a refugee. The church members appreciate a priest who understands their needs. As often as he can, Father Mussie travels to Rome. He lived there for many years and still looks after refugees in the city. He sleeps at the Vatican but pays his travel expenses himself. His friend Abraham drives him around Rome. The two have known each other for more than 20 years.
Whenever anyone turns to him for help, he never says, "I can't." He just does it.
Father Mussie takes us to the Ponte Momolo refugee camp. Cameras aren't usually allowed here, but the residents make an exception for the Padre. It's a slum similar to those found in Africa, but we're right in the middle of wealthy Europe. The residents are left to their own devices.
Around 130 people live here. It's an unacceptable situation in a civilized country, which should welcome refugees in a humane way.
Humane? Here, 130 people share just 4 toilets. 130 people, most of whom have recognized refugee status and are in Italy legally. 130 people trying somehow to survive. There's no government support and no work. A few of the men offer us tea. Although desperately poor, they insist on maintaining their standards of hospitality. Tesfaye has been here for 11 years. But he still has nothing more than the dream of a better life.
There's no work, so we have to live here. And no work also means that there's no solution.
If there was a system that integrated refugees into society, this sort of place wouldn't exist. But I don't see any political will to provide a solution to this situation.
Father Mussie rooms with another clergyman in Switzerland. He can't afford an apartment of his own. He says that with its pledge to uphold human rights, Europe has a moral obligation to refugees.
These people come here looking for freedom, justice and dignity.
Father Mussie Zerai has made helping refugees his life's work. He knows that the desperate calls will continue to reach him for a long time to come.